Okay, here we go. Job 10. My soul is cut off, though I live. I will leave my complaint upon myself, and will speak in the bitterness of my soul. I will say unto God, condemn me not. Show me, wherefore thou contendest with me. Thinkest thou it good to oppress me, and to cast off the labor of thine hands, and to favor the counsel of the wicked? Hast thou carnal eyes, or doest thou see as man seeth? Are thy days as man's days, or thy years as the time of man? That thou inquirest of mine iniquity, and searchest out my sin? Thou knowest that I cannot do wickedly, for none can deliver me out of thine hand. Thine hands have made me, and fashioned me, wholly round about, and wilt thou destroy me? Remember, I pray thee, that thou hast made me as the clay, and wilt thou bring me into dust again? Hast thou not poured me out as milk, and turned me to curds like cheese? Thou hast clothed me with skin and flesh, and joined me together with bones and sinews. Thou hast given me life and grace, and the visitation hath preserved my spirit. Though thou hast hid these things in thine heart, yet I know that it is so with thee. If I have sinned, then thou wilt straightly look unto me, and will not hold me guiltless of mine iniquity. If I have done wickedly, woe unto me. If I have done righteously, I will not lift up mine head, being full of confusion, because I see mine affliction. But let it increase. Hunt thou me as a lion. Return and show thyself marvelous upon me. Thou renewest thy plagues against me, and thou increasest thy wrath against me. Changes and armies of sorrows are against me. Wherefore then hast thou brought me out of the womb? Oh, that I had perished, and that none eye had seen me, and that I were as I had not been, but brought from the womb to the grave. Are not my days few? Let him cease and leave off from me, that I may take a little comfort, before I go and shall not return, even to the land of darkness and shadow of death. Into a land, I say, dark as darkness itself, and into the shadow of death, where is none order, but the light is there as darkness. Okay. My notes. I put, when Job asks where God desires his contention with him, pleading with God, why are you keep on putting me through all of this? What have I done? And, if I've done wickedly, show me my wickedness. If I've done righteous, then I'm confused, because then why am I afflicted so sorely, Okay. And Job says to God, thou knowest that I am not wicked, which is crazy. It's really crazy that Job says that to God, but I think that Job was, as far as he knew, doing what was right. He may have not known, the most perfect thing to do, but I think he thought, like, as far as I know, I'm doing everything that I can, that I should be doing, And so later he tells God that if he sins, God will mark him. He says that the visitation of God upholds his spirit, which is very true. Job, I think, knew at this point, he was like afflicted so much, and just like, such weak health and everything, and, he was just through such, like, terrors, and just, like, racking his body, ripping it apart, that I think he knew that only by the Spirit of the Lord was he still alive. And he was actually, there's a few parts where it kind of like shows, where he says, before I go and shall not return, even to the land of darkness and shadow of death. It's like he wanted to. He's asking God, like, why would you just bring me out of, the womb for my end to be like this? What have I done that's good for you? But he's really just like looking at, hey, I'm gonna die. I'm going to, the place of darkness and death, and I'm not gonna come back. So But it says, he will not even lift up his head in his righteousness. When I put, question mark, become prideful, even though he feels, even though he has done everything within his power to do, and he feels like he hasn't done wickedness, he still, it says, he would not lift up his head. And it's kind of, just last night I was out at Applegate, and they're talking about the prayer of the Pharisee and the prayer of the publican. And the publican would only say, he's like trying to beat his flesh, and saying, Lord, forgive me, a sinner. And he wouldn't even look up to heaven, just forgive me, I'm a sinner, man. And whereas the Pharisee would, lift his eyes up to heaven and tell God all day about all the good things that he'd done. So, and I put that Job, he was confused, wondering what God's complaint is against him, because he says, if I have done wickedly, woe unto me. If I have done righteously, I will not lift up mine head, being full of confusion, because I see my affliction. So it's like, his friends just keep on saying, that, the reason that he's being afflicted is because of his sin. But Job keeps on, standing his ground and saying, no, that's not right. But at the same time, Job is still wondering, why am I being afflicted? He knows that his friends aren't right, but he still doesn't know exactly why. So there really can't be an end to the debate, because he can't tell them beyond a shadow of a doubt why he's being afflicted. So, and that is what the debate is between Job and God. Job's like, why have you marked me? Why are you doing this to me? What is the reason for me to be alive if this is the type of end that you have for me? So, I've actually thought the same thing before, and when I was younger, I used to seek death because I felt like there was no real reason for me to be around. I just thought that the world was just a place that I didn't need it to be, and I didn't think that God really had anything for me, since my dreams were crushed when I was young. But God crushed my dreams so that I would come to see what true reality was, and true reality is becoming a real man that follows the law of the Lord and seeks after righteousness. So, praise the Lord, all you his saints.